This is the Wrestlebread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 151 of the Wrestlebread Podcast. So I hope, to all the moms out there, I hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day. If you are not a mom, I hope that your mom or your girlfriend, wife, fiance, sister, or whoever, grandmom is in your life, I hope they had a wonderful Mother's Day as well. Mine was quiet. I just chilled pretty much most of the day, played a little bit of video games, and waited around for Wrestlemania Backlash, Mother's Day Bash, I guess I should say, to come on. I also checked out Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness on Friday. First time I ever checked out a Marvel movie on opening night. That was interesting. No spoilers, but I have mixed feelings about it. I may have to watch it again to really get a feeling if I really liked it or not. There's parts of the movie that I liked, but what the trailers had produced, and I didn't see all the trailers, I should say that. I probably saw the first two. And then what we got was kind of a different thing. And maybe, I would say I will definitely have an opinion of it once I see how it plays, how it fits in the Marvel universe. Because it's not like a movie on its own, like Iron Man and Thor and all those movies, whereas though it's a story within itself. This Marvel movie, it's a story within the multiverse, within the Marvel shows and the movies. So it's not really a movie that can stand on its own. You have to watch the shows that's on Disney Plus, like WandaVision and the What If series, and probably even Loki, to kind of get to what's going on in the movies. I mean, you could probably catch on if you don't watch it, but it just really feels like it's a setup for something. You know what I mean? Or a continuation of a storyline. But the visuals and everything is really nice, but I just don't know how to really feel about it. So getting into wrestling, a lot of rumors that came about. We had Backlash that happened on Mother's Day. We also had a Rampage that was on a weird time, Dynamite, and NXT Spring Breakin', which I checked it out on Hulu. So I saw I think it was 90% of it that ended up on Hulu. So yeah. But getting into the rumors first. So the rumor, this is from, I think it's from Wrestling Observer, that apparently the 6-man tag for Backlash was always the plan, and that WWE never planned to unify the titles. And it's not clear at this point if they ever will unify the titles, which I think they actually are still unifying the titles. The rumor is the reason why they pulled the match between Shinsuke and Roman Reigns is because they didn't want to do it they felt as though it wasn't a big enough match for a stadium show. So they want to save it for later on down the line. But I'm not surprised that they changed their mind. I mean, we all heard all the rumors of, plans and scripts being torn up for Raw an hour before the show happened. So am I surprised that they was going to go with one storyline and then, suddenly change their mind, which I think is what happened here. I think that they wanted to do eventually Shinsuke versus Roman and then unify the titles, but, they decided to change their mind and save it for later on. Big E also presented an update. He had tweeted out recently, for those, I'm waiting on the update, my C1 apparently isn't healing optimally. I'll spend another 4 to 6 weeks in a brace in hopes that I can avoid a fusion. But don't fret yet, I got a tremendous support system and what shall be, shall be. So, I'm really hoping that Big E pulls through. It's really a big shame of his injury, especially that it felt like it kind of changed the plans of what was going to happen between the New Day versus Ridge Holland, Butch, and Sheamus. But I'm really hoping that he heals 100%. And I mean really like 100%, like to where there's no worries about his neck, very similar to Edge and Daniel Bryan as well. Fightful Select have reported that Candice LeRae's contract has expired and she is now a free agent. And it was confirmed on WWE.com because her profile has been moved to the alumni section, which I'm not surprised. Her husband is a free agent and didn't renew his contract. So, I really didn't expect her to renew her contract either. Kind of similar to with Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. Zelina decided to go back to WWE because Aleister Black was there, and then unfortunately they released him while she was still signed. So I'm not surprised about it. Don't know where they're going to end up. Of course, there's, hope of AEW, Impact, or even Crazy for them to come back to WWE. I mean, we've seen that happen before, but I hope wherever they both end up, that they will be used to, that their talents will be used correctly and that they'll be happy wherever they go. This one, and, with all these rumors, you can kind of take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes these rumors are not true. I'm just, I'm just reporting of what rumors I've heard of, and then I just go off my opinion as if it's true. So if it's not true, it's not true. But for this one, apparently, according to Matt Menz, Andrew Zarian, apparently people in WWE were extremely impressed of how Morcery, aka formerly known as Big Cass, looked on AEW Dynamite this week. I'm not surprised at that either. I mean, this is the same situation with Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. WWE feels though, they don't have use for someone. They go off to another company and stuff like that, do, a lot better, look a lot better, get, he looks a lot bigger, not bigger, but more muscular than he was when he was in WWE. So, that probably caught their eye. So I'm not surprised about that either. Now going on to a rumor with AEW, their console game apparently is way over budget and require extra investment. And this is according to Sports Gamers Online. And that's apparently the relationship between Kenny Omega and Ukes isn't good, and that Fight Forever may be a one and done arrangement between AEW and the developer. Downloadable content has been discussed, but nothing's confirmed yet. They did show on AEW Games Twitch channel a little bit of gameplay and character reveal. They showed Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander as well. And there were some people who's going to be downloadable. Apparently, people who came over from WWE, like Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, Ruby Soho, probably CM Punk may be downloadable if they're not in the game already. And there's also rules that Owen Hart may be a playable character, but I don't know how true that really is. I mean, of course they have the tournament in his name going on, but I don't know if they're, going to have him included as a playable character. I hope this rumor is false. It could be very possible that they didn't realize how much money goes into a game, of this size, that you wanted to come out on console, and they announced it was coming out on PC as well. I would like to, I would hope that this project could be saved and this would turn out to be a really good game, especially if this rumor is true that it's just one and done. I hope that it's a lot better than WWE 2K20. Sorry, not 22, 20. I heard 2K22 is pretty good. I didn't get it yet, but I have 2K14 and 2K18 to go through, so I figure I might just work on those for right now and then eventually upgrade to whatever is going to be the latest edition at that time. So the next rumor, this has to do with WoW, that Tessa Blanchard apparently may be out on the outs with WoW, according to Fightful Select. Apparently, talents are allegedly upset that Blanchard had apparently she tore apart a wrestler in a promo. Classes were canceled. She's no longer leading training. It was rumored that she may be gone from the company, but it's not confirmed. But I say I don't know. You would hope that people will change, especially if they're given a chance at something. But I can't sit here and say that I am like so surprised about this, because I'm kind of not. I mean, this kind of shows that the rumors about her being a bully and things like that, it seems like it's kind of true, If it sounds like a duck and it quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, then it's not chicken, you know what I mean? The next rumor, this is with Freddie Prinze Jr., who was formerly a writer with WWE, that apparently he's looking to create his own wrestling promotion. He talked about on his podcast and everything that he's looking to start his own wrestling company, a unionized company at that, and that he is looking into possibly getting investors. So wish him all the luck. I mean, there's a lot of people who are starting up wrestling companies nowadays, but it's all important about getting that exposure and talent and paying those talent and stuff like that. But as we see with AEW and Ring of Honor coming back and GCW getting a lot of attention, and New Japan coming over to America, is just really giving a lot of opportunities to promoters and for wrestlers to do something more in the indies. The indies are becoming a lot more I wouldn't say popular, but a lot more, more people are looking at it than, it used to be before. Going in, and speaking of AEW, Stu Grayson contract has apparently had expired. He was offered a new contract as two sides could not come to an agreement, on the financials. There's an opportunity that he could possibly return, but as if they settle for the right dollar amount. So it's just about that time with, all these people who have signed with the company 3 years ago. Their contracts are coming up, I should say. And I know there's people who are comparing this to WWE being released. And it's like, well, if I know that my contract is expiring April of 2023, like I'm not going to be like, sidelined it and being told in October of 2022 that I'm gone. There's a big difference between, getting fired basically and, not letting the contract expire. I mean, you hope that the contract gets renewed, but, the thing with AEW is that they're getting so much talent from WWE, whether, with CM Punk and Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley and all these other people coming in, it really puts a lot of pressure on the originals and people who, comparing to those top tier wrestlers, probably won't get, a lot of TV time in any other promotion. So it kind of pushes for everyone else to kind of be on the top of your game. Because if you're not on top of the game, when your contract comes up, it may not be time for you to get renewed, or you may not earn as much money as, someone else will. But, it sucks either way, whether you are released or your contract doesn't get renewed. Essentially, you don't have a job basically. So it kind of sucks. Quite honestly, like, Stu Grayson was funny with the vlogs and everything. But I'm going to be completely honest here. I don't really see a lot going for the Dark Order. They were really popular when Brody Lee was their leader, especially on Being the Elite. I mean, they pretty much was like the number one thing going for the vlog. And since his passing, they don't have a leader. It feels like they're not going to ever have a leader, because of Brody Lee's passing. So they're kind of like in limbo. You know, Evil Uno, I don't think he's going to really go anywhere because he handles the YouTube channel for AEW. So I don't think he's going to really go anywhere. John Silver is very popular with the fans. He's very likable. He, is very funny and stuff like that. Alan Angel, 10 is very over. I think out of all of them, I think 10 has the most potential to really succeed as a single star. Who else? Alex Reynolds. Same with him and John Silver are a really good tag team. So I think if they were to break up, I think 10 Evil Uno and the tag team of Alex Reynolds and John Silver will be okay. I don't think everyone else is going to be, fine after that. But I really don't see really a need, truthfully, for the Dark Order anymore. I know, in honor of, because of Brody Lee and everything that he had did, that people are still going to hold on to the Dark Order. But truthfully, I don't really see too much for them. Also, Mia Yim is back. She appeared on Impact. I forgot the name of the event this past weekend. I didn't watch the event, but I did see her trending, and I saw that she appeared on Impact. She was actually with Impact before she came to WWE. She had won the Knox Out Championship in 2016. So I'm not surprised that she is back with the company. Would I have liked for her to go to AEW? Yes, because AEW definitely needs a lot of help, especially having veterans come in to help out as well. But I'm happy for her. Apparently that when she came to Impact is not a one-off, that apparently she may have signed with the company. But truthfully, she could still appear on AEW anyway because of the the Forbidden Door and stuff like that. So, I look forward to hopefully seeing her, perform and things like that on TV again. Now the biggest news to everyone and their mama and their father and their mom and grandmama this past Mother's Day was wondering is what the heck is going on with Roman Reigns. So apparently he had cut a promo at the live show in Trenton saying that he don't know when he'll be back and stuff like that. Mentioned that he's going through a new phase in his career. So of course people started immediately thinking that he is leaving WWE, that he's going to Hollywood, and of course there were some that was like, oh, he might be going to AEW, which he isn't. Like, come on, let's keep it serious, guys. But it seems like he signed a contract where he'll be working less dates. It's possible he could be going towards Hollywood. Who knows? I mean, he did appear, and I think it was what was it? I think it was Hobbs and Shaw with The Rock, and I'm sure them checks are still coming in. He's probably like, ooh, I can work for a couple of months and still get paid many years later. But I think it's something that I have said plenty of times before of what, there's going to be a time where Roman Reigns is going to retire or, eventually phase out into being a part-timer. And so it seems like that time is coming sooner rather than later. And so now WWE has to build up their next star. Outside of Roman Reigns, I mean, they gave him a title for the past 2 years. He has all the titles now, pretty much. He, hops between both shows. So it's like, who is your next person in line? Who's going to be your person next? Cody Rhodes or something? So it's like, you got to build up the young stars. Because, all these people can only do, one person can only do but so much. You know, as much as they put on Roman Reigns, you know, he can't carry the show from, you know, top to bottom. He can't wrestle all 3 hours of Raw. So, you know, WWE just gotta get it together and figure out who their next star is going to be. So getting into, I'm not going to get into Backlash just yet. I'm going to go into AEW first. Now, I did not check out Rampage at all. First of all, I didn't even realize that bad boy was coming on so early. I think it came on like 5 or 6 o'clock on the East Coast. And I was just getting off work. And so your girl was not about to watch no damn wrestling as she got off of work. Sorry. And plus, you know, AEW really needs to do something with Rampage. These crazy times because of, you know, the sports stuff and everything like that. I mean, TNT have no problem, you know, bumping something off just to for the NBA or for hockey or for whatever. So AEW really needs, Tony Khan really needs to figure out, like, what do you do? What are you going to do here? Like, you know, the show coming on at 11 sometimes, coming on at 7, coming on at like 5 o'clock. I mean, I'm very sure we're going to get to the point where that bad boy, I mean, it comes on Saturdays sometimes. I'm sure it's going to come at one point where it's going to come on 1 o'clock in the morning somewhere. You know what I mean? So I feel as though they're going to have to look at changing the day that it comes on, maybe changing, you know, sticking to a more permanent time. But, you know, this Friday night, it's not working for them. Especially if they're trying to get, you know, as much viewership as they can with Rampage. Not Rampage, with Dynamite. So I didn't check it out. I didn't even look into I think I checked out like one thing with Rampage, but I didn't really look into it all like that. Now, getting into this past week, Dynamite, it was an okay show, really. You know, we had, first of all, the match between Rey Fenix and Dante Martin, which was a crazy match. Now, look, I know what people say about some of these matches that AEW puts on. I'm a sucker for the flippy shit. I'll admit it. Hi, you know, my name is Jaydee, and I'm a sucker for the flippy shit matches. However, I do like a technical match. You know, I've said plenty of times that I loved Bret Hart and Owen Hart when they faced each other at Wrestlemania 10. You know, I love a technical match. I love the storytelling match. But, you know, sometimes I love the flippy shit. You know what I mean? So, I love the flippy shit. So, that match, it was awesome to me. Sorry to say. I love Rey Fenix. Dante Martin is not a human being. I mentioned that Rey Fenix is not a human being. 1 + 1 = 2. Okay. Of course, the spot, people didn't like the spot where they did the, it looked like they were going to do a Spanish fly, but they both landed on their feet with Rey Fenix with his arm around Dante Martin. People didn't really like that spot. I thought it was a cool spot, you know, kind of the, veteran showing the young buck, you know, not young bucks, but showing the young bull that, you know, hey, I can do this better than you. I got a few things to teach you type of situation. That's how I took it. But I love that match. You know, Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Fish. You know, Jeff Hardy, I feel like the Hardys are on their last run. And I said that when Jeff Hardy had left WWE and there was a speculation that he's coming to AEW. I figured them together, this is going to be their last run. Of course, Jeff Hardy isn't going to be out here, you know, swantoning and doing all the things that he did, like he did back at, like, when he was facing the Dudleys and all that, and Edge and Christian and stuff like that. He's a tad bit slower. Yes, I mean, how many fucking injuries this guy has made. He's not too far across the line like Undertaker, but I feel like we're getting to that line here. You know, bless his heart to be able to, you know, do what he still can do. I can't get in the ring and wrestle, so I'm not going to sit here and, I'm not going to try to sit on a high horse and stuff like that. But, you know, he's a tad bit slower than what he normally is. I'm a little shocked that he won the match. I thought that Bobby Fish was going to win. I like Bobby Fish. The Avalanche Falcon Arrow that he did was a great spot. And so I was a little shocked that he lost the match because I like Bobby Fish. Then we also had the Blackpool Combat Club going against the Butcher, the Blade, and Heligo. First of all, Lord Regal on commentary, calling Angelico, Angelo, or all these different ways that he said his name, was kind of funny. But this was a good match. We're seeing the Blackpool Combat Club really come together. Bryan Danielson being the technician, Moxley, being the not really out of control, but being the lunatic fringe. Yeah, you kind of want to say. And Wheeler Yuta definitely being the the up and coming wrestler who's learning from everyone. First of all, the promo that they showed, the little vignette that they showed with William Regal, teaching Wheeler Yuta the tricks and stuff like that, and he was talking about how if you were given a knife and you were told to stab someone, they would stab them once, and but the Blackpool Club, they'll sit there and cut your face and stuff like that. Chef's kiss. That was really good. I love that. I think those type of vignettes is stuff that they should do a lot more often with people. Like, can you imagine if they shot a vignette at that execution for the women's division, or for people that you really want the crowd to get to know? You know what I mean? It's like, if you're going to base people getting re-signed or paid depending on their popularity with the crowd, you really should give people a chance to be known. And I will make that point again when I talk about the main event. But you have to give people, like, AEW. The thing that I really don't like that AEW does is that it really does not cater to people who don't know the wrestlers and stuff. Like, they announce people from New Japan, and I admit, I don't know who half of them are, and I'm not being told who they are, and why is the crowd popping, and why I should care about it, you know what I mean? And so they're not letting people know, like, hey, this is who this person is, this is why you should care about them. And they do it sometimes with other people, like for Swerve Strickland, I think it was, they did it with, when they put the lower third and with the nameplate, they put on there how many titles he won in like 13 different promotions. And I love that, because I was like, somebody didn't know Swerve Strickland, they'll see that and they'll be like, wow, damn, he won all those titles in all these different promotions, he must be really good. And I just really hope that they put as much effort as they do with the the money makers as they do with the people who aren't really known in front of the crowd. But I love the Blackpool Combat Club. I think it's the coolest damn thing ever. I can't wait to see who else they bring in. If they stay as a trio, I won't be mad about it. If they bring in one of the female wrestlers, hey, let me tell you, okay, they bring in Chris Statlander into the Blackpool Combat Club. I hope whatever AEW insider is listening to this, please pitch that. Chris Statlander with them. I know people like the alien gimmick and the boop and stuff like that, but like, you could tell, like, she's a killer in the ring. She's really good in the ring. I feel like she's the best wrestler they have on the roster right now. And I know there's other names that you want to throw in there, but if you really watch Chris Statlander and her wrestling ability and stuff like that, she's really good. And I feel as though you throw her in there and she's learning with Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley and Regal and Yuta and everything, she'll be amazing. She'll be amazing. So we also had Wardlow versus MJF's mystery opponent, which of course ended up being formerly known as Big Cass. People popped for him. I missed part of the match. I did see that he was defeated by one power bomb. And it was kind of done purposely because they didn't want Morrissey to really be embarrassed, I guess I should say, by being powerbombed like so many damn times. The crowd chanting "We want Enzo," and Morrissey just really shut down that chant, was like "fuck no," and just like, pretty much "fuck Enzo," um, which I thought was pretty funny as well. But yeah, someone made the comment that Wardlow is climbing the tower just like Mortal Kombat, and I feel like MJF has been doing that with all his opponents. Like, he has made people face everyone in the pinnacle and then get to him, which I'm like, that's a very smart move. It's like, hey, if you want to fight me, you're gonna have to fight all my people. You gotta run through the squad first, before I feel as though you're worthy of going against me. MJF mentioned he will be facing Wardlow at Double or Nothing, but according to his stipulations, which will be at a contract signing in Long Island, New York, aka MJF Bizarro World, because they cheer like hell for MJF. So that'll be very interesting to watch them, cheer for MJF and then boo Wardlow. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Hangman Page cutting a promo against CM Punk. Whoa, sir. Like, whoa. Very, very good promo. I mean, he sat there and said he's gonna beat the shit out of CM Punk. I hope he backs up them words. Like, I hope this doesn't turn into like, some type of, wrestling match. Like, I really hope we get this nitty gritty Hangman Page. Storyline wise, I don't know where we went from 20 to 100, and I say 20 because he wasn't exactly the way he was before when he was going against Kenny Omega and stuff like that, where he was very unsure, and he has gained a lot of confidence, stuff like that. But I don't know where we got this full on like, hey, I'm gonna beat the shit out of him type of Hangman Page. I don't mind it. I don't mind it, especially when he sat there and said there's not going to be a masturbatory Bret Hart tribute match. I'm going to destroy CM Punk. I'm like, damn, what the hell did Bret Hart do to him? Did he not give you the glasses when you were at the ringside during one of his matches or something? Like, why we bring Bret Hart into this? Bret Hart's going to sit there and give your match a 4 out of 10 now because of what you just said. But yeah, I guess, this promo was really to show that Hangman Page has a slight chance of retaining his title, but everybody knows CM Punk is winning this. Sorry, Hangman. Your chase for the title was really good. One of the best storylines that, AEW has put out, as long as it was. But it's coming to an end, my guy. CM Punk's gonna hold the title, and it is what it is. And then he sat there and told a fan who was wearing a shirt that after he's done with CM Punk, he's gonna want to get a refund. I'm like, damn, yo, you're really gonna fight CM Punk? Like, is this going to be a stipulation match or something like that? Because you can't sit here and tell me you're going to do all this and it's a regular wrestling match. Like, you making it sound like you're gonna bust them open. Like, this is about to be some, Extreme Rules type of match, or Street Fight, I guess you say, that they do in AEW. But it seems like he's gonna wreck his world. And if that's what it's gonna be, I'm not saying I want blood. I want a really good wrestling match. I should say that. I didn't really check out Chris Jericho versus Santana. And then I saw that the Varsity Blondes had called out the House of Black. So I was ready for, the turn from Julia Hart. It feels like they've been, this story with Julia Hart and the Black Eye has been like growing. It's like watching paint dry. Like, this has been taking too long. Like, I appreciate that you want to do the long-term storytelling. I guess they're waiting for Julia Hart's hometown or something like that. That this, the reason why we're dragging this out for so long. Like, they ain't even like, this should have been happening 6 months ago. That's how I'm feeling right now. This probably didn't happen 6 months ago, but it feels like this has been going on for years. The Varsity Blondes, they cut a promo and stuff like that. I feel for Brian Jr. that, he really cuts he can cut a passionate promo, but it just doesn't connect with the crowd. like he really cuts a promo like it's the 80s, and it doesn't really gel that well with the crowd. If this was like back in if this was pre-Attitude Era, you know, a lot of people probably would have popped for it. But, it just feels like he belongs in the 80s with the way he wrestles, the way he cuts a promo, his look and stuff like that is really like 80s, which I'm imagining is because, of his dad and stuff like that. But you really like I said, and I made this complaint about him before, like I don't know who the hell Brian Jr. is. I feel like he's pretty much a replica of his dad. But I don't know who he is separate from his dad, if that makes any sense. But, the House of Black comes out and they pull the eye patch off of Julia, gave her a chair for her to hit, I think it was Griff Garrison, but she didn't do it. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're skipping steps here, okay? I kind of fully expected for her to like turn on them and then reveal what the eye actually looks like. But it seems like now we're going to go another couple of weeks with this situation, and I'm like, it's kind of obvious that she's going to turn on them because of Malachi giving her the chair to hit Griff Garrison with. So it's like you kind of ruined the payoff for us now. Because when she turns, it's not going to be a bit of a surprise. You know what I mean? So, unless she's turning heel by attacking by attacking Ray Phoenix or Penta or something, or Pac or something like that, of how she joins House of Black. But it just feels like it's whatever. And then John Harbaugh was there, and Brian kept mentioning about that was his roommate at Miami and stuff like that, which I thought was pretty cool because they were in Baltimore. I was like, that's the only time y'all gonna use John Harbaugh is to talk about Brian Pillman Jr. He probably left right after that damn promo too. So, I don't know. It's just I don't know how really it feels. It's very slow storytelling. I'm sorry to say. And then we had a promo between Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa, which fell so damn flat. Like in the ring, this would probably be a really good promo, but it really felt like a WWE style promo where there's like, you know what I'm going to do with you? What, Serena? What are you gonna do? I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to take your title. Like, it sounded very unnatural or rehearsed or scripted, stuff like that, which I know it wasn't, but it really didn't come off very natural. So I don't know. I'd rather for this have been a backstage interview or something. I don't know what it is. When Thunder Rosa come out to the stage to cut a promo, it just always feels flat for me. Like, she has like the passion and stuff like that. Like, you can hear the passion and stuff, but I don't know. It's just like I'm not like, sitting at the edge of my seat when it comes to when she cuts a promo, And then we get the main event, Deonna Purrazzo versus Mercedes Martinez for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Now, if this had happened in Ring of Honor or even on Impact, it would have been a really good match. My issue is that Deonna Purrazzo, if you don't know who she is, you don't know who she is because she has done nothing with AEW. Her name hasn't really even been mentioned in AEW. But, if you watch Impact or if you watch, AAA or anything like that, you know who Deonna Purrazzo is. Even if you had watched WWE because she was in NXT, you know who Deonna Purrazzo is. And then with Mercedes Martinez, she hasn't really been seen on AEW TV that many times. So with this match, the fans really didn't care at all. And this is my point earlier of that vignette that they cut of the Blackpool Combat Club. They could have easily had done this with Deonna Purrazzo. Tell fans who the hell she is, why they should care. Because if you don't know who Deonna Purrazzo is. And AEW really didn't present Mercedes Martinez very well so far. So at the end of the day, you don't really care about this match. It was a competitive match, But there was no story, like, why are these two women going against each other? Like, what is going on here? And I feel as though they should have definitely had did a vignette about Deonna Purrazzo. Show it last week, say this is what's coming up next week, and show a vignette of Deonna Purrazzo and all that she has done. And, show the fans, like, hey, this is why you should care about it. Because it was like, well, who are you actually, supposed to cheer for, really? I mean, I know the AEW doesn't do heels and face and stuff like that, but normally one side normally gets cheered more than the other. And when it came to Deonna and Mercedes, the crowd didn't really know who to really cheer for, because they didn't know who Deonna is, and they didn't really care for Mercedes Martinez, because she was pretty much like, she was just thrown out there during the Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker feud. So it just like it's just like one of them situations where it's like, look, I gave the women a chance. They main evented Dynamite, but it's like, yeah, you gave them a chance, but you didn't put them in the right situation. Like, you gave them a chance knowing that they would fail. Like, knowing the crowd didn't know who they were. And you didn't really present either woman, correctly either. Like, I was confused. I was like, I didn't even know Mercedes was, champion of, I knew she had won the title from, I forgot who it was. I think it was Willow or something like that in Ring of Honor, but it didn't even click to me that she was actually Ring of Honor Women's Champion. And, with Deonna Purrazzo, she was presented very well with all the other company stuff like that. She was pretty much the female version of Kenny Omega. She was the Collector. And you really wouldn't know that if you didn't watch her, wrestle and stuff like that. You wouldn't have known that. And I wish that AEW had presented it. She's the champion of, your company now. And now you have Mercedes, who is the champion of Ring of Honor. You need to really present them you really need to present them just like you would with Blackpool Combat Club, with CM Punk, with the Elite and stuff like that. Like, the energy you give to the men's division, you need to give it for the women's division. You know what I mean? So I didn't really like it. I felt as though, like, you didn't present the women that well, and it made the show fall very flat for me. Because they weren't even really given a chance. So that was Dynamite. I actually checked out NXT Spring Break. I checked it out on Hulu. Because I don't really watch the show regularly like that. But I know people who are there. I know of the people who are there. Because I don't really watch it as much. But I did check out this on Hulu. So with the North American title, Cameron Grimes versus Carmelo Hayes versus Solo Sikoa. Solo, first of all, is very over. I mean, Uso all the way. He's one of the ones I'm very surprised they didn't bring him up on the main roster immediately. Like, he's really good in the ring. So, I don't know if it's like character work or promo that they feel as though he needs to work on, but they could definitely bring him up with the Bloodline. And it's like, well, what about the whole title situation? He can go after the United States title or the IC title easily. You know what I mean? But he looks just like his damn brothers. Like, he's a splitting image of his brother. So I don't understand why you don't throw him on the main roster. I guess because they're putting him on the, the Samoan get up, whereas though his brothers and his cousins, the Bloodline and stuff like that, they're wearing sneakers and whatnot in the ring, whereas though, Solo isn't really wearing any, but he's very over with the crowd. I'm very surprised that Grimes had won. I thought they would give the title to Sikoa, but, definitely he has a great career ahead of him, especially with Carmelo Hayes as well. I think with those two, and, I know sometimes I complain about NXT 2.0 and stuff like that, but, I stopped once I realized, like, this is pretty much FCW 2.0, whereas though this is pure developmental, whereas though the Black and Gold NXT was straight up indies. But I feel as though with them two, if they're booked correctly, actually with these three, if they're booked correctly on the main roster, they definitely have the potential to grow and become stars and really be over with the crowd. But I'm very surprised that Sikoa is not on the main roster with his Uso bros. Um, then there's Grayson Waller and Nathan Frazier. And I was looking at Nathan Frazier like he looks very familiar. And I couldn't put my finger on why. And it's because this motherfucker came from NXT UK. I don't even think they mentioned NXT UK because I think Vince really forgot that NXT UK exists. The moment he finds out it exists, that'll be the last show that NXT UK will have. Yeah, so because they were really like showing him as if he like came to the company for the first time. Because I was like, why are we like really? Why should we be really hype about his debut and stuff? Because the promo that he cut, he was like very nervous as hell. It really didn't seem like he didn't really know what to say and stuff. And so I really didn't get it. But yeah, I had to look it up. Like, why should we be, surprised about it? And it's because, this motherfucker came from NXT UK, so he's not exactly new to the company. He's not even new to America. As they said he moved to America like 4 years ago or something like that. So I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Now, as far as the match was really good between these two. Grayson Waller really showing that he got some moves under his belt. I don't know what the hell. It was this move he did where it was this move that Frazier was like jumping off the rope or something like that, and Grayson Waller had caught him, and I don't know what he did. I forgot the name of the move that it kind of resembles, but it was really good. So he definitely has a lot of potential. And then there was the sit down with Tony D'Angelo and Legado del Fantasma. Now I haven't been watching it, so I didn't even know Tony D'Angelo like has a full on Soprano squad. I really wonder if there are Italian Americans that get kind of like offended by his character because they really made him like straight up Sopranos. I mean, maybe it works because it's Sopranos, but maybe not. Who knows? Then we also had the segment with the Toxic Attraction going to the beach with Wendy Chu and I think her name was Roxanne. Whatever. It is what it is. You got them in their bikinis, stuff like that. I guess if you're gonna, say spring break, you have to show that it's spring break. And then they showed a vignette of a woman and her horse. I didn't really pay attention to that. And then I saw Alba Fire and why, like her explanation as to why she's called Alba Fire. She's striking the bat like it's a match and it like lit up and stuff. Okay. And then we had Cora Jade and Nikita Lyons versus Natalya and Lash Legend. So they're really putting a lot into Jade with Cora Jade and Nikita Lyons. Of course, everybody and their mama loves Nikita Lyons. She is probably the face. She's probably a lot more known than Mandy Rose at this point. The way that people have fallen in love with her. I ain't gonna lie, I'm on that train too. I am on that train. But yeah, with Natalya here and Lash Legend. I thought Lash Legend was like the Wendy Williams character, but she really, I don't know. She's not doing the Lash thing like they normally had done. And she definitely needs like help in the match. Like I try not to look at the issues. Here's my thing though. I try not to look at the the little miscues and the botches, stuff like that, and like you can clearly tell that like it's developmental. But I feel as though, like, if you're going to put this on network TV, especially at a primetime spot for 2 hours, it has to be really good wrestling. If this was on the WWE Network, like, I wouldn't have an issue with it. You won't hear me complain or anything like that. But if you're going to put a developmental show on primetime TV and, give it time like this, I expect, like, expect a little bit more. Like, I was completely fine with the first two matches that I talked about, but with this match, it was okay. I mean, there was like some mistiming and stuff like that with it, but it was alright. And then I had checked out Braun Breaker versus Joe Gacy. I don't know what Joe Gacy's supposed to be. I know he lost baby Lesnar. But now he got Druids. So he got Druids, and they brought out a gurney that had barbed wire wrapped around the sides. So I don't know, is this like Bray Wyatt 2.0 or something? Is he gonna have like a higher power or something? Like, it's really felt like Bray Wyatt slash, I can't even say Undertaker. It felt more Bray Wyatt than anything. It was okay. I'm just waiting for Braun Breaker to go to the main roster at this point. Like, he definitely is main roster talent, but it's just like, I don't know. The thing with NXT is that there's talent, and as long as it's talent versus talent, it's all right. But once you get, I don't know, it was okay, I should say. Like, I seen Joe Gracie wrestle before, and I was like, yo, he's really good in the ring. It's just the character. I don't know what the hell is going on here. But I don't know. It was just like, I don't know. It just wasn't really that good to me. Like, for it to be the main event and it's for the title and stuff. Like, the Waller match was a lot. The North American title and the Waller match was a lot better than this main event. And then I guess you have to tune in to see where the hell they took him. I think the story was that Joe Gacy was like he took his dad's Hall of Fame ring or something like that, or he kidnapped him. I don't know. I just saw the part where Braun Breaker was looking for something, and then he listened to audio of his dad talking or something like that. I don't know. It was pretty weird. But that was NXT, surprising. I had checked out on Hulu. And now it is time to get into Backlash. I was surprised that Backlash was actually pretty good. This was one of the pay-per-views that, like, you kind of expected wasn't going to be as good, because it was a lot of rematches from Wrestlemania. But it was pretty good. It was very quick. I believe it was only 3 hours long, because I was surprised that it was only 6 matches, I think it was. And I figured they was going to add more matches, but it looks like no, they're not going to add any more matches. So we have Hell in a Cell. I think it's coming on June 5th or 6th or something like that. Yeah, it's going to be on June 5th, which is very interesting that they're having these pay-per-views early in the month. And it was announced by Cody Rhodes that Money in the Bank will be in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. It's going to be on July 2nd. And which is very interesting that they're going to have this during the 4th of July weekend. It's on a Saturday, which I love. I love Saturday pay-per-views. That way you're not like trying to sacrifice, do I really stay up to catch the main event, or do I go to bed on time so that I can wake up on time for to go to work on time. But yeah, Cody Rhodes mentioned that he talked about the Money in the Bank. They're really putting him on Front Street. And people started getting hung up on something he said. He said that the winner of the Money in the Bank will win a chance to main event WrestleMania. And so people started freaking out, thinking that they're changing up Money in the Bank, and, that Royal Rumble will be no more or something like that. But I don't know. I guess he meant to say could get a chance to main event WrestleMania, that, whoever wins the briefcase, cash it in on the champion. But you have a year to cash it in, so you could technically cash it in at WrestleMania and be technically in the main event. But it just feels, I don't know, feels like they're really shooting the moon, taking Cody to the moon, like Cameron Grimes would say, and that he may be the one who wins the Money in the Bank, which will be very fucking interesting. That will be interesting. That would be very interesting. And speaking of Cody, he is the one who opened the show, him versus Seth Rollins. This was a great match. Like I know I am somewhat of a hater of Cody, but I cannot deny his wrestling ability in the ring, the storytelling, stuff like that fits perfectly for WWE. And he really wrestles, and I said this when he was in AEW, like he really wrestles like the baby face. Like he's really good at wrestling like that type of style, where you like kind of like root for him to like get back in the game and stuff like that. And it really works. And WWE in their little bubble, because of course they keep mentioning how Cody's been gone for 6 years and stuff like that. And Jimmy, I forgot his last name, but he mentioned like he hoped Cody doesn't have ring rust, and it was like, what? It was like, Cody, somebody needs to tell Jimmy this isn't CM Punk. Like Cody actually wrestled for, since he left. Like I know that y'all like to live in y'all bubble, but at least acknowledge that he has been wrestling. And Corey Graves actually corrected him and said that he has wrestled elsewhere. But this was a really good match. I mean, Seth Rollins is awesome anyway. I mean, I think there's like a bit of a hate for Seth Rollins for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, Seth Rollins is good in the ring. And Cody is good at, wrestling as the babyface. So this was a pretty good match. The end of the match with Cody pulling on the tights. I don't know. The thing is that WWE is like between this and there was another with Ronda Rousey. It's like really blurring the lines of the babyface. Like it's baby faces who are not doing babyface things. Actually, like with Lacey Evans, actually. It's baby faces who are not doing babyface things. So I don't know. And so I don't know what it means with Cody pulling on the tights because Seth pulled on the tights. But we'll have to see where this goes. I'm very sure this may go to another match between these two, even though Cody has the 2 wins over him. Seth Rollins, where does Seth Rollins go? And I think it's going to be another match between them two. Even if Seth Rollins wins, it's like you're going to continue this match once again. Or if Cody wins, that's 3 wins over Seth Rollins. Like he may have to move on from here. But it's very possible this is going to lead to a match at Hell in the Cell. Let's be honest. And then, if they do decide to put the briefcase on Cody, which I'll be very surprised about, they can just do it then. And then he'll follow up with the next feud. Next up is Bobby Lashley versus Omos. This match actually was placed where it exactly needs to be, at their very good, fast-paced match. And you have this match that really slows down and really gets people, like, not really the bathroom break match that came later, but this match, I don't know. I'm not interested really in this feud. And Omos has potential, he really does, but it's just like, I don't know, some of these things aren't really doing him any favors. Like he has improved a lot, but something is like really off with his wrestling. Like he is very, very slow. It feels like he's a lot faster than he wrestles. And I realized that, he doesn't really have like a big guy mentor that can show him how to sell like a giant. Like his facials. If you watch him during that match, his face when, his face with some of this stuff, it really comes off, I want to say Power Ranger-y, not really Power Ranger-y, but definitely like one of those action shows where like their face is really animated when they like get hit and stuff. Like I feel as though like MVP, I think, will help him. as far as maybe like character development and possibly promos. But I feel as though he really needs a mentor as far as him selling as a big guy. And there's like no one really like, because Paul White is gone. Like even Mark Henry could have helped him, but it's like no one there to really help him as far as like how to wrestle. So I'm hoping that maybe MVP kind of like tells him to watch like footage of Mark Henry and the Big Show to kind of show how to, you know, sell as a big guy, because it feels like just very similar with Keith Lee when they wanted Keith Lee to wrestle like a big guy instead of the way he usually wrestles. It feels like they want Omos to wrestle as if he's like 20 feet tall. Like he'll like do a move and like it really slows down when he gets offense. But I don't know. Like he reminded me, you know, when he sells stuff and does things like that. If you ever watch Captain America Civil War, there was the airport fight and Ant-Man was a giant, and the way that he like stumbled and was very slow and stuff like that reminds me 100% of Omos. And I know that might be mean to say. I'm really hoping like he watched like footage or something like that. He really needs to watch tape of how other big guys sell and move around the ring. Because even with Big Show, I mean, Big Show was really big, but he wasn't as slow as Omos is moving. Especially Mark Henry. Mark Henry wasn't as slow either. They did a lot of power moves and stuff like that, but it wasn't like so slow. Like you wasn't with a lot of with some of Big Show's matches, like you wasn't like definitely like bored to tears. I mean, there was matches that Big Show had, of course, that was just like sleepers, but you wasn't like completely bored. Maybe it's better for him to watch Mark Henry. Mark Henry was pretty good as far as in the ring and selling and stuff like that. So maybe Omos can definitely work on that. Like he doesn't have to be like all speedy and stuff like that, but he should definitely look into as far as how Mark Henry had moved around. So next up we have Edge versus AJ Styles. Damian Priest was barred from ringside. Now this match was a lot better than their match in Mania. And I mentioned about their match in Mania that it just felt like something was off. Like they were holding back something. And I knew there was a rematch coming or something. I knew there was a rematch coming. But I felt as though like, you know, at least let this, like the Mania match should have been pretty good. So of course we get it here, a lot better match between these two. You know, the name Judgment Day, his group, it was the pay-per-view. So every time I hear it, I know they put the word "the" in front of it to kind of, to kind of different from the pay-per-view. They're saying the Judgment Day. I'm like, you guys, like, you guys could have definitely had done a lot better than that. Like, you could have named it Edge of Judgment. How cool is that name? I hope the WWE insider who's listening pitch that. Just say, you know what, we're not, just change it like you change everyone's name in WWE. Just say we're not called the Judgment Day. We're called Edge of Judgment. You know what I mean? Just play around with it. You know what I mean? But we had Damian Priest who showed up ringside anyway. The match, it was all about as far as AJ Styles' shoulder got hurt. They kind of played up to it when they played up to it during the vignette. And we saw Edge starting to attack the shoulder once again. And Styles even mentioned during the match, my shoulder, it hurts. So they really played up to it. We see Damian Priest show up. He was in the aisle, so he wasn't technically ringside, which is very smart. I don't know why nobody thought of that until now. As many people as barred from ringside that no one had just stand in the aisle and just like stared at the match. So AJ was up top and I think he was about to do the, he wasn't about to do the forearm, but he was definitely on the top rope. And then there was a hooded figure who knocked him down. People thought it was going to be Tommaso Ciampa or Rhea Ripley or whoever. And Edge wins, of course. Gets to the ring. The hooded figure gets into the ring and took a knee in front of him and then took off the hood. And it was Mrs. Steal Your Girl, Rhea Ripley, with black hair and a lot of motherfucking eyeliner. And I was like, yes, she's about to steal your girl and Soul's out here. So, I'm happy for her. This will definitely help her out. It just really felt like, especially because she was, in the tag team stuff like that, and the tag team really didn't go anywhere. So I feel as though with Edge by her side, Beth Phoenix even, you have the king or queen, of the Judgment Day or whatever. For her to like really get better storylines from here. Can we please have her feud against Bianca Belair? Can we do that? I feel as though they're gonna have her go against Liv Morgan, probably, since she kind of turned her back to Liv Morgan. But I'm just waiting for her to go against Bianca Belair. Their feud was pretty good in NXT. And I'm just waiting for it. They definitely have been teasing it. They're both very strong, showing each other one up and stuff. Actually, no, we saw it at the Royal Rumble. But I can't wait. I can't wait for that feud. But I'm happy for Damian Priest, and I'm happy for Rhea Ripley. That this is something that they should have been doing a while ago. With these people, with the legends coming in and stuff like that. Just help out the younger talent. Like I said, these legends and part-timers and the people who you put, on top of the game, they eventually are going to move on. And you have to bring up the next generation of wrestlers. So you definitely got to do it with people like Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. So I can't wait to see what happens. I love it when, with these factions, stuff like that, they include a woman, in case, hey, if the woman appears, someone's manager or something like that, you got Rhea Ripley to deck her. So I'm definitely happy that she is part of Judgment Day, or as I would like to call them, Edge of Judgment. Still love the theme song, of course. This is the same guy who sings Edge, other theme song. But I love it. And so I can't wait to see what this happens. Of course, this is leading to probably a Hell in a Cell match between Edge and AJ Styles, and I'm all here for it. So I can't wait. So next up is the women's SmackDown Championship, Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. This match was also better than WrestleMania. A lot of shit talking here. I think they even caught Charlotte Flair saying shit. There was a spot where Ronda Rousey was doing a suplex by the entrance, and I think Charlotte Flair has said shit. A lot of the word bitch going around. Happy Mother's Day, bitch. I figured he was going to say that, bitch. No, bitch. I don't quit, bitch. Say I quit, bitch. I was like, yo, they're saying the word bitch more than Freddy Krueger. I thought we was about to get a promo for Nightmare on Elm Street, WWE style. I don't know if they were going for the Guinness Book of World Record for the word bitch, but I was definitely thinking about Freddy Krueger when they kept saying it. I thought they was going to say, this is my world, bitch. Run, bitch. You better hide, bitch. I'm in your dreams, bitch. That's how I felt. Ronda kind of did the polls with the Kindle sticks, stuff like that. I fully thought they was going to do, with Xia Li, how she has a protector and it showed like the lightning bolts coming from her. Like I fully expected Dragon Ball Z, she's over 9,000, Ronda Rousey when she posed with the two Kindle sticks. I don't know if she just decided to pose like that because, how the fuck do you stand when you got two Kindle sticks in your hand? You strike a pose. Apparently that's what you do. I liked the ending with the arm lock inside of the steel chair. They said that Charlotte Flair, her arm actually broke. According to WWE. Even her arm broke, but I'm sure she was sent to a medical facility. My question is, what was the point of Ronda Rousey learning the ankle lock if she was going to apply the armbar 20 times in this championship match? Just a thought, just a thought about it. I guess she figured, why learn something new when I could just go back to the fucking armbar? But whatever it is, we have a new champion, with Ronda Rousey. And that was another thing I was saying, I guess she was supposed to be the baby face, but she was throwing the word bitch out there a hell of a lot. You know what I mean? But I'm interested to see what's going to happen next. There's speculation. People think that it may be Lacey Evans she goes against next, which is going to be pretty weird. I mean, I don't know what we're doing here with these 5 weeks of her telling her story. And I know, I mean, like, WWE doesn't like people using their real names or even a part of their indie names, stuff like that. But they have Lacey Evans give 5 weeks of her telling her actual story of her growing up in an abusive home and dealing with mental health and, drugs and overdose and people committing suicide and stuff like that. And I'm like, WWE, I feel as though it's kind of a stupid move to do all this with Lacey Evans. And then on SmackDown, the announcer was like, Lacey Evans would like for you to show your appreciation for all that she has done as, Marine and WWE superstar and stuff like that. And I'm like, what are they doing here? Is she actually supposed to be a heel here? Or is she a delusional babyface or something? And I feel as though you have her tell this damn story and crying her eyes out and stuff like that. Very dumb move. Because I can see if they're looking for her to be like John Cena and never turn a heel or anything. But I'm like, you guys do know that eventually the fans are going to boo. And the fans at that point will be booing a domestic abuse survivor. Yeah, I mean, or, someone who has dealt with, someone who's on drugs and abuse, stuff like that. Like, you guys are really gonna go down that path. And I'm sure they're not even gonna mention, like, all the things, like her fucking life story that she just told us. And that's what I kind of don't get. And my whole thing was, when she was telling this whole story, I'm sitting here like, how is this translating to the ring? Like, I get that you guys want her to be over with the fans, you want to get sympathy and stuff like that, which, she got because the fans cheered for her. But I was like, how is this going to translate into the ring and into the feud? So it's like, is the heel going to mention her abusive dad? Like, is a heel? Because Charlotte Flair did that. Or is it Charlotte Flair or Paige? No, I think it was Paige. Paige said that about a Charlotte Flair brother who had passed away by suicide. And Randy Orton had said it to, now, of course, this was very long ago when Randy Orton told Rey Mysterio about Eddie Guerrero and where he ended up being. But it's like, is the heel going to mention that Lacey Evans was a domestic abuse survivor? Like, are they, like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think it's a really good idea to, have her present this story. Like I said, I think they probably would have been better off keeping her as a heel and just turn her into Sergeant Slaughter 2.0. Because truthfully, they don't really have a lot of, like, really good heels on SmackDown or even on Raw, truthfully. I mean, on SmackDown, they have Natalya, Shayna Baszler. They have Charlotte Flair, who is off TV for a little bit anyway. Now, yeah, and that's all I can really think of as far as heels on there. I mean, they had brought up Raquel Rodriguez. She's a babyface. They have Xia Li still, who's a babyface. Shotzi Blackheart, who's a heel, but she hasn't really been shown like that. So it's just like, they don't really have a really good heels. And I felt as though definitely could have used Lacey Evans for that. Next up, we have Madcap Moss versus Happy Corbin, which was meh. This was the bathroom break match, sorry to say. The crowd was definitely behind Madcap Moss. I feel as though you really need to change up that gear. I mean, like I keep saying, I don't know if he's about to chop trees or he's about to drop it on a pole. But the gear is definitely like, what the hell type of situation. And like I said, because I was wondering, like, where the hell is Bianca Belair? How come her belt isn't being defended on this pay-per-view? Instead, we got Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. But, they're characters. They're really good characters, despite how you feel about Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin. They're really good at portraying the character that they're doing. This match was, this match could have definitely been better on SmackDown or Raw. Like, it really didn't feel like a pay-per-view worthy match. But I guess, it's something for them to throw in between the Ronda match and the six-man tag. So next we have the six-man tag match, which was fun and better than I expected. I thought this would be, I don't know, like RK Bro is definitely a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of fun. This was a non-title match, so I'm very shocked that the Bloodline won. I thought that Drew McIntyre would win here, just to kind of show, like, give him a bit of momentum as he go against Roman Reigns. Especially the fact that, Roman Reigns kind of like paused when Drew McIntyre got tagged in. I don't know why WWE is acting like Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns versus Roman Reigns like never happened. Like, I had to really sit there and think about it, because they was like the commentators was really hyping it up like they never faced each other before. And I was like very confused, because I was like, they faced each other before. Like, I think he even faced him as Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. So I'm very confused as to why we're acting like this is something special. You know what I mean? But this was a really fun match. RK Bro is a lot of fun to watch. Brittle's definitely showing us that he knows how to do RKOs out of nowhere, and catching people, as they fall to the ground. The spot with Randy Orton, first of all, he is so over. I wouldn't say he is like the most over he's been in his career, but he's definitely getting as much love as he has gotten in his career. The spot where Reigns went for the spear and Randy caught him with the RKO, and then he tossed one of the Usos to the outside, and one of the Usos went to do a super kick, and Randy Orton caught him with an RKO. I mean, Randy Orton definitely showing us why he is who he is after 20 years. This was a really good match. But overall, this was a pretty good pay-per-view. Not really a lot of complaints. The sleeper matches was in between really good matches. But yeah, overall, this was a pretty good pay-per-view. Oh, excuse me, not pay-per-view. Premium live event. My $6 was well worth it. But that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Let me give some shout out. Shout out to Julian Rob Bass from Wrestling Court Podcast on AlternativeMinds.com. Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show. Chris from We Talk Next Podcast, which is featured on the Keita and Jay Show. Nando and Larry from Half K Podcast. Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling. Also, special shout out to Circle of Debate, who just celebrated their 2-year anniversary and 100th episode. If you didn't get a chance to check out their latest episode on YouTube, and they revealed their new logo as well, be sure to check it out as well. Also, shout out to Straight Talk Wrestling, Top Rope Wrestling Podcast, Dirty Heels as well. Coming up next week, we are on the road to Double or Nothing and to Hell in a Cell. So I'll be talking more about what is going on. We also have the start of the Owen Hart tournament. Of course, there are, jokers that has been announced for both the men and women. The Joker for the men is going against Samoa Joe, and the Joker for the women is going against Britt Baker. And it's like, I really like the excitement when AEW gets new people, but it's just like I'm at the same time I'm like tired of the announcements and like, hey guys, I have an announcement to make. Hey guys, I have an announcement to make. Coming up next week, check it out on AEW Dynamite. And now we have these jokers here, and it's just like, I just don't want it to be the situation with the big guy with the Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal segment, where you really hyped up a debut and it was very underwhelming. And it's just like, whoever the Joker ends up being, either is going to get defeated by Samoa Joe, or the Ring of Honor champion Samoa Joe will be defeated by someone who just came into the company. And the same with Britt Baker as well. So I don't know if this is someone who's on the roster. People have mentioned Miro and stuff like that. Of course, people mention Cesaro and Johnny Gargano and stuff. And it's like, if it's one of those two, there's a lot of pressure for them to win. Like, it's like, why are you introducing this person into the tournament just to have them lose? Because losses matter in AEW. So I don't know if the wins and losses on this tournament actually count, but it's like, why are you going to introduce this person to the company and then have him either win against Samoa Joe, but eventually he's going to lose? You know what I mean? I'm rooting for the men. I'm rooting for Dax Hardwood. Like, I feel as though whoever wins the Owen Hart tournament, it really should mean a lot to them, and I think it would be really cool if he was to win the Owen Hart tournament. I feel as though it's going to mean a lot to him. But yeah, and then for the women, people of course mentioned Candice LeRae, Mia Yim, or something like that. But whoever they're going against is going to defeat the woman who have been like on the top of the women's division for a very long time. And so it's like same thing. Whoever you bring into that tournament, it's going to be a lot of pressure for them to win. And it's something that AEW does. They introduce someone new into a tournament or a ladder match and they like win it right away. But you know, I am interested to see who it is. People even said Kenny Omega, which I highly doubt. Like, I highly doubt they're gonna bring back Kenny Omega, who had multiple surgeries and, you know, came back, you know, after all that time, for him to wrestle 3 matches within a very short period of time. For the Owen Hart tournament. I feel as though it's more likely he's going to come back for the storyline with the Undisputed Elite. So I don't think it's going to be him. It's going to be fun. It really is. It's going to be fun once they reveal the Joker, stuff like that. But it's just like, you're bringing in all this talent, you're not giving other talent a chance. Like, where the hell is Miro? You know what I mean? And I'm sure there are women in the women's division who have yet to be seen, who is like, where is such and such? You know what I mean? So that's what is coming up next week. Be sure to hop on Twitter and follow me at JDC137. You can also find the podcast on Twitter at Wrestlebread. You can click the links in the bios for the Instagram, the Facebook, and the YouTube channel as well. Be sure to check episodes of Slice from Jaydee. I'm still getting the day of when that comes out together. I'm thinking it makes sense for it to come out on Fridays. And I normally talk about something that's going on in wrestling as well. So be sure to check that out. Reactions is coming soon. I'm supposed to be reacting to some matches from New Japan. One of the matches I'm going to be reacting to, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to figure out how to react to it. And it's Jon Moxley versus Will Ospreay, which I heard was a really good match. And I may react to like some Wrestle Kingdom entrances as well, but we will have to see. But if you have suggestions on New Japan matches for me to check out and react to, definitely let me know on Twitter, or on Facebook, or even on Instagram. But leave a review. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you felt about Backlash. Were you pleasantly surprised about it? It feels like the pay-per-views where we have the low expectations are always the really good ones. And then, of course, it's the pay-per-views that we have the high expectation for that is just like, meh, whatever. So let me know your thoughts of how you felt about Backlash. And are you excited for the upcoming next couple of pay-per-views that are coming, or premium live events, excuse me. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. And until next time, guys, peace.